afternoon, Quilt Roadies. Thank you for stopping by. What is going on today? I mean, today literally is a hodgepodge of weather. I mean, I don't know about you, but don't you think this year has been the most crazy weather in any one season in the last several years? I had a class today, a cross-stitch class today, and when we left it was overcast and cloudy. By the time we got to class it was pouring rain, and then the sun came out, and then it was raining again. And as my friend Cheryl and I were driving home, there was lightning, thunder. We got up to when she dropped me off, the whole front was covered in hail. And so G told me, oh yeah, it hailed and thunder and lightning, and yet it's now this blue sky, cloudy blue sky. It's and oh my gosh, those poor people where the tornadoes have just unrelenting. And the snow in California. Okay, this is a channel about stitching and quilting, not a weather channel. Although it seems like that's all anybody is talking about. But yeah, so how have you been? How's life going for you? It's going great. We had our grandson this week. He stayed over. My kind of in the middle grandson. He stayed overnight, and we did a little bit of outdoor activity in the backyard, and then he played with Legos, and he loves G's cooking, so you know, it was just a nice sweet time. And then I had class today. I'm pooped though. It was so much brain work for me. I'm just pooped. So what am I going to be doing today? I am actually still tacking down a binding, facing. I'm doing some facing of a quilt. And as you'll notice, my Sashaco quilt wall hanging that will be at auction at the Quilters Affair is down, and that is because I just cut the facing strips for that. And if you were to Google Quilt Roadies facing a quilt, there's actually a tutorial on how I do that, and it's very simple, but it really is an awesome way to finish off a quilt that you don't want to do a binding on. Now, just forewarning, it is not faster necessarily than putting a binding on. It's just a different way to finish a quilt. So yeah, I am going to be, I use these little, the little red clips to kind of keep everything in its place. And I'm gonna just get this going here. Perfect. I kind of miter the corner down just so it looks like a professional stitched it down. And I'm just using Aurifil thread. Yeah, so what have you been up to? Have you been doing any quilting? I have been very excited about quilting because I am getting ready for a quilt retreat, my Fabric Stalkers, and so I've been prepping. What are we going to be doing? Of course, the last conversation was all about what we're going to be eating while we're what we're going to be eating while we're at retreat. And retreat keeps getting more and more days added to it, so that's going to be I I feel like I needed a lot of stuff to keep me busy. So I have the blue floor French General fabric all cut out, packed, ready to go to piece that quilt. And then I got a bee in my bonnet when I saw this kit that was offered on the Stitching Post website. And it's for like a wall hanging size quilt, but it arrived in the mail. I have been, you know, I know there's so many things I could be doing, like cleaning my house, but I could sit for hours downstairs and watch the birds at the feeder. And so when I saw this quilt, it was just, I mean, I couldn't order it fast enough. And so here's the quilt. It's called Songbird Serenade. So, you know, those are pre-printed panels. And the kit includes the bird panel, and it has both the scientific name for the birds and traditional names, I guess you would call it. And they're made like postcards, so, you know, there's even a place to place a stamp. It's like reproduction bird postcards. This is absolutely gorgeous, and it came with the border fabric and the binding and sashing fabric. So I'm going to be cutting that up and getting that ready to put together for a retreat, and that is going to be lickety-split. Lickety-split. I just love this. Real simple. Absolutely simple to put together. But, you know, sometimes you need when you're doing a lot of quilting, and you know, I know there's, you know, like my Civil War log cabin. You know, that's hundreds of pieces, stripping, sewing. Or when you're putting together more complicated quilt patterns, sometimes you need a break from that. And this is definitely that break. So this kit, which is called Art Journal, this fabric line is called Art Journal by J. Wrecker Fish. Songbird Serenade. Definitely is on my going to prep that to take to retreat. And then I got some Happy Mail in. I mean, was I excited about this. This was from Kathy Schmidt. She is such a kind person. Look at their card. So she knew that I was in love with this book, a new book that she was coming out with. I mean, now she made it into embroidery, little embroidery circles, into a quilt. All of these were made into a quilt. And but look at this. You could make them into pin cushions. I mean, it's endless. The ideas are endless. Oh, I mean, is that quilt not just gorgeous? But when I first saw this, my mind just went bonkers, because all I could think about was, I could make scissor fobs. I mean, all of these individual oh, she signed it. Oh, it says, to Anna. To the woman who inspires so many. She didn't say enable, she said inspires. Sounds so much better, doesn't it? But here's the thing I didn't know. I thought that, you know, it would be like a lot of her patterns. I trace them with my miso light table onto fabric, and then I stitch them. Oh my gosh, look at, they're just, this is like a must-have. It's a must-have book. But here's the thing, which I didn't realize. You can order the pre-printed panel on Spoonflower and simply scan the QR code that's in the book. So when you buy the book, there's a QR code inside and you scan it, and you can buy from Spoonflower all of the motifs already pre-printed on fabric. And I love the fabric. I mean, you talk about an easy no-brainer. Definitely going to be taking this to retreat with me, because all I could think about was I could make scissor fobs, I could make buttons, pin cushions. I mean, it's endless, endless. Yeah. So did I tell you that Chester, I'm working on Chester. Okay, let me just show you the book one more time, because you're definitely, oh gosh. Oh, so adorable. I can't wait to start this. And look at this sheep. It's done with a whole bunch of colonial knots, or so cute. I'm very excited about these. Although these designs are small in size, they pack quite a sweet punch. Add one to your next quilt label or pincushion. Yeah. Love it. Forgot what I was going to say. I told G, I said, this aging process is so humbling. I don't know about you, but there's days where I just wonder, oh my gosh. I told him the other day that we are going to have to hold hands and support each other through this next decade, because you got to have somebody, a friend or a loved one, who has your back and wants you to live to the fullest of your potential. Yeah. And yeah, so I was telling him, boy, we have got to do that, because there's just some days I wonder what the heck is going on. I'm just trying to get this facing thing started. Yeah, so I took the sashiko off of the wall because I need to get the facing started on that. So I cut the facing strips. I had just enough of the fabric I wanted to use on the facing, for the facing strips, so I really lucked out. And then I thought, what am I going to put on the design wall next? And I realized that I found these blocks, which are from Primitive Gatherings, and they are flannel and wool, and I have to stitch. Some of them are already stitched. Let's see. This one's all stitched. And I don't know about you, but I'm trying, oh jeez, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here. There's so many projects that I have that were original in their original design. Like this was, there's 3 more blocks to prep. So there's a total of 12 blocks. I can't, I'm sorry, I just can't stand that little guy down here. He needs to be up here, and this one needs to be moved over. Yeah, okay. So, there, I feel so much better. How about you? Was that bugging you too? But I don't have the wall space, and I do switch things out, but I really, my wall space is premium, and I knew that I was not going to make this all up, stitch it, quilt it, and then put it in a drawer. So when I was looking at it, I thought, you know, that's the best thing that we can do with our projects, is either to share them, to reinvent them, because it's the process that brings you so much joy. So what I decided to do was to turn all of them into needle books. I thought that would be fun gifts, and so I went to Pioneer Quilts and picked up some lovely, lovely flannel. Just a variety of different colors that I could use to make the binder part of the needle book, and then put felt or batting or something as the pages. You know, it just needs a couple pages. So that's what I decided to do, because otherwise they're just gonna, the blocks are just gonna sit in a box, and why not have fun making them into something and then being able to share that. So I got real excited about that, so I went right over to Pioneer Quilts, because they have such, oh man, they have such lovely wool, hand-dyed wool, and flannel. They have gorgeous flannel. And so I just bought a variety that I could use. And when I get one done, I'll show it to you next time. Yeah. I also, because I had my one of my grandsons, well, one of the older ones too, used to be just a real Minecraft. I don't get it. It's some kind of a game. And from what little I understand about it, and don't you feel like you're out of step sometimes when your grandkids are talking about something that you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. But I think this Minecraft game is about mining, crafting in a mine. I'm not sure. But I remembered that a few years ago, for one of my older grandsons, I made a Minecraft quilt, and so I said, oh my gosh, I need, obviously it's time to make another one, because the younger one, he's turning 6 here pretty quick, so for his birthday I could make him a Minecraft quilt. So I looked, because, you know, sometimes it's hard to find fabric, and so I looked, first I picked a pattern out, and I picked out It's Yellow Brick Road, so it's a Atkinson design. And Atkinson design makes some very fun, not challenging quilts that just seem to go together just like you want them to. There's not a whole lot of matching up the points and all of those things that are more challenging, and so I chose Yellow Brick Road. And then I went on the hunt for Minecraft fabric and discovered that Joann's carries a lot of licensed fabric. It's not the same quality as like you would get at a quilt shop like with Riley Blake or Moda, but you know, you're talking about a boy who's gonna roll around in it, and so I was gonna order it online. And here's the thing, I had just had this conversation with G that one of the outcomes, and we've discussed this over to ad nauseum, or is the fact that we do so much shopping online. And I was going to shop for Minecraft fabric online. But then I saw in the ad that, in the ads that it says Joann's carries them and in my area. So there's a giant Joann's not far from me. It's just I mean, it's over in the next town. And I went in there, and this is the largest Joann's I've ever seen. And I couldn't find any, so I went on the hunt for someone that works there, which this Joann's is so big that when you walk down aisles, there's a camera watching you, and the camera says, there'll be someone to help you soon, you know, or something like you're being, but there's no people. And it's so funny because I read this news article that said so many businesses are having a hard time getting employees. But I finally found a gal, and she knew exactly what I was looking for. Unfortunately, when we went over and looked, she could only find one bolt of one print. So I did buy that. And this, if you don't know what Minecraft is, it's this. It's these little block people who build walls or take down walls, or I don't get it. So I told G, I said, you know, it's kind of like, no wonder we shop online, because you don't have to physically hunt down and travel and take time to, you know, get in the car and go from place to place looking and not finding it. It's much easier to mail order it. And so that when I got back, I knew I needed more fabrics than one piece to make the quilt. And so I got online and found this shop, Sewn in Seattle. And they have all kinds of fun fabrics. They have all kinds of fun fabrics. And so I ordered a fat quarter pack, and then I ordered some yardage. And so the pack came, and so I think this will be enough if I add a few little fun things to it to make a twin-size quilt. But I have to do it at Retreat because his birthday's this summer, so I need to get it done. So far, I have 4 quilts that I'm taking to Retreat. I have the French General from Fat Quarter Shop. I have the Songbird Serenade from the Stitch and Post. I have the Minecraft fabric from Sewn in Seattle. And I have a whole bunch of bee fabric. then I'm going to use one of those quilting cards. Rose, well, you know what quilting cards I'm talking about. It's a pretty simple quilt, and I'm going to, so I'll have enough to keep me busy, but I do know that, you know, like the Songbird Serenade, it's, that's going to be a piece of cake to put together, piece of cake. And if I get everything cut out ahead of time, because that's the thing about retreat, I will make a mistake if I try to cut a quilt out at retreat because I'm too distracted. So if I get them all cut out before I leave, so all I'm doing is piecing. That's just cake right there. That's just cake right there. So those are my big plans for this week. I am looking forward to that. It's hard to believe. Oh, it looks like there's big thunderheads over towards downtown Portland. But blue sky above me. Blue sky above me. I think that piecing these quilts is going to be invigorating when it comes to quilting. I think as far as hand stitching, the hand stitching projects, and see, I still have another week and a half before I go, so I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff between now and then. But the urban rose pattern, the wool and flannel pattern from Primitive Gatherings, that's the hand stitching, the wool stitching that I'm going to take with me because I really want to make some headway on that. So what do you have going on? Oh, this is two. Oh, there's one. A needle threader. I need a needle threader now. It's like, there we go. Yeah, so tell me in the comments what you have going on quilting wise. Are you already into the gardening thing? Oh my gosh. I am here to tell you. The squirrels, I think, first of all, I think everybody is like out of control. I mean, I can tell that we have coyote coming through our backyard. And I am fearful because there is I'm pretty sure it's feral because every time I've tried to call it or talk to it, it runs away. But there's a Siamese cat that was coming through our backyard every morning and would travel along the back edge and then would poop when it got to the other side of our yard and then bury it. And we, you know, but I haven't seen it in a week. And so I'm kind of wondering if a coyote got it, because we definitely have had coyote going through our yard. Definitely. And the deer, you know. But all kinds of birds, and migratory birds too. There's a bird species, I don't know my species very well, but there's a bird species that I know migrates into Oregon this time of year. And so it's got a bright yellow chest. So pretty. Yeah. But I have that gardening fever. I went out and I actually, in between the rain, was able to, you know, trim back a lot of bushes and weeds and all of that and get it filled up my garden can. And so I need to go get some rock, some mulch. Oh, and I was told, I wanted to share this with you because someone, you know, shared it in the comments, which I love, because I learn a lot from you guys. But I was told that that red hummingbird stuff in the bottle is not good for them, that it has chemicals in it that are just not healthy for the species. And the simplest way to fill your your hummingbird feeder is to do a 3-to-1, 3 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar, and then boil it till the sugar melts, and then fill it up, and then change it out every 3 days or so. You know, and it's funny because I thought, well, I thought that that's why they sold that stuff, was, you know, because it was good for hummingbirds, but apparently not. So, and I said I would pass that on as a public service announcement. Yeah. There's something very relaxing and rhythmic about binding, doing binding. It's like your fabric mantra of some kind. Is that funny? Fabric, a new term, fabric mantra, is when you're tacking binding down and you have this rhythm going, and yeah. Can't believe Easter's right around the corner. Boy, I hope all of you that are in the pathway of the those tornadoes and such are doing okay. You almost hate to turn on the news. Yeah, it's looking good. Well, I guess that's it, huh? I'm just going to sit here and keep binding away. I have been watching The Night Agent on Netflix, spy thriller, and watching a lot of reruns too, because there isn't a whole lot. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of good television, but the reruns always make you laugh. But The Night Agent was good, and started the book on Julia Morgan, and that is, you know, female architect who did Hearst Castle and many, many others. And my only goal sometime this year is I would really like to crochet a carrot. Is that weird? I really would like to learn to crochet a carrot. So that might be on my, I hope I can learn that this year. But you know, if I don't, there's so much to learn. And I love that, I like path of the unknown and the discovery. I guess that's what keeps my crafting and quilting and stitching world rolling, is that I'm just so it's like awakening the little kid in you, and I love that. I love that. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you will come back again and that you hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, we shall see you next time. I hope you're well and safe and dry, and know that I love you guys.